first 2 weeks of campaigning, wisely adding winning veterans of Democratic presidential campaigns to the staff of the campaign that today became the Harris-Walz campaign. President Biden, no doubt watching proudly, said this today: "The first major decision a party nominee makes is their choice for vice president. And Kamala Harris has made a great decision in choosing Governor Tim Walz to be her running mate. It's time for all Democrats, and indeed all Americans committed to freedom, democracy, and American leadership in the world, to rally behind the Harris-Walz ticket. Every generation of Americans faces a moment where they are asked to defend American democracy. That moment is now." When prosecutors walk into court on the big cases, they are not alone. They always have at least one co-counsel with them at the prosecution table. Tonight, Donald Trump's chief political prosecutor, Vice President Harris, continued her prosecution of Donald Trump with her new co-counsel, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz.
I was a courtroom prosecutor. So in those roles, I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators who abused women. Fraudsters who scammed consumers. Cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, Trump's type.
Make no mistake, violent crime was up under Donald Trump. That's not even counting the crimes he committed.
When Donald Trump watched that tonight, he knew he was up against another new candidate who he could not handle. Donald Trump has already been lost trying to figure out how to campaign against Kamala Harris. And now he's even more lost trying to figure out how to campaign against Tim Walz, who in that one line told the truth about the violent crime rate under Donald Trump's presidency more clearly and more memorably than any Democrat ever has. In a similar burst of clarity, Tim Walz blasted through decades and decades of political rhetoric about abortion when he said this.
Some of us are old enough to remember when it was Republicans who were talking about freedom. It turns out now what they meant was the government should be free to invade your doctor's office. In Minnesota, we respect our neighbors and their personal choices that they make. Even if we wouldn't make the same choice for ourselves, there's a golden rule: mind your own damn business. These guys are after my heart chanting, mind your own damn business. That feels good, so thank you.
Mind your own damn business. That is nothing less than the single best political message the Democrats have ever delivered about abortion and reproductive freedom. This is the first presidential election since Donald Trump's Supreme Court justices revoked a constitutional right for the first time, the right of women to control their own bodies, including the right to control their own bodies after they are raped. Donald Trump's Supreme Court justices said that 10-year-old girls raped by family members cannot be protected in any way by federal law. The Constitution does not care about them, according to Donald Trump's Supreme Court. And in the very first presidential campaign since Donald Trump's Supreme Court justices did that, Tim Walz is saying to Donald Trump and his Republican judges, mind your own damn business. And polling shows that the mind your own damn business position commands a large majority of American voters. Next year, if Democrats control the House, the Senate, and the White House, they will be legislating a bill with all of the protections for women of Roe versus Wade. And in the debates on the House floor and the Senate floor, you will hear repeatedly the Democratic position described more simply than ever in the words, mind your own damn business. We now have a presidential and vice presidential team of running mates who are the best possible spokespeople in the history of the Democratic Party for the mind your own damn business position. And we have had two vice presidents from Minnesota, both Democrats, Walter Mondale, serving with President Jimmy Carter, and Hubert Humphrey, the first vice president from Minnesota, serving with President Lyndon Johnson. It was Hubert Humphrey who, on the campaign trail, took on the nickname the Happy Warrior. Tonight, there is a new Happy Warrior from Minnesota running for vice president.
Donald Trump's not fighting for you or your family. He never sat at that kitchen table like the one I grew up at, wondering how we were going to pay the bills. He sat at his country club up in Mar-a-Lago, wondering how he can cut taxes for his rich friends. And I got to tell you, his running mate shares his dangerous and backward agenda for this country. J.D. Vance literally wrote the foreword for the architect of the Project 2025 agenda. Like all regular people I grew up with in the heartland, J.D. studied at Yale, had his career funded by Silicon Valley billionaires, and then wrote a bestseller trashing that community. Come on! That's not what middle America is. And I got to tell you, I can't wait to debate the guy. That is, if he's willing to get off the couch and show up. So, you see what I did there? Look. I got to tell you, pointing out just an observation of mine that I made. I just have to say it. You know it, you feel it. These guys are creepy and, yes, just weird as hell. That's what you see. That's what you see. So you know what's out there, so say it with me. We aren't going back. We aren't going back. We are not going back. So we got 91 days. My God, that's easy. We'll sleep when we're dead. Over those next 91 days and every day in the White House, I'll have Vice President Harris's back. Every single day. and we'll have yours. You know how this works. We can't do it alone. We need you, each and every one of you. Go over to KamalaHarris.com, get on board, because we need you. Freedom to make our own choices. This leader, this compassionate, careful, joyous leader believes in each and every one of you. My God, you came here tonight to sit at the very top because you love this country and you're not going back. She believes in the opportunity for every single person to join the middle class. She believes in the promise of America. We just got to fight. We just got to fight. Because as soon-to-be President Harris says, when we fight, we win. Thank you, Philadelphia. Thank you, Vice President. God bless America.
Leading off our discussion, someone who was there, Pennsylvania Speaker of the House, Joanna McClinton. She was there at that rally today. Speaker McClinton, go ahead. Take us in the room. What was it like? What were you feeling?
It was truly electric at the Leocore Center in the heart of North Philly tonight. It was packed to capacity. There are over 15,000 people there. I want to say everyone was there from Philly, except I saw people who don't hold public office, who drove down from Harrisburg, who drove down from Erie. People in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania are fired up and ready to elect Kamala and Governor Walz immediately. The fact that we're 91 days out and just 2 weeks after our beloved president, I call him Uncle Joe, stepped down, not running for re-election, and all of this excitement has come to pass right in front of our eyes. We saw a warm welcome, not only from elected officials. I, for the first time, got to meet our next vice president and able to salute for the first time our soon-to-be president, let her know how proud I was as a superdelegate to cast my vote for her earlier this weekend. We are not going back, and people are determined. There was complete hope in the air, even afterwards. Of course, when you're in crowds that large, it takes a long time to get in, a long time to get out, a long time to wait for the motorcade. I went across the street on Temple's campus, picked up something to eat because we were all waiting, and everyone, Lawrence, was just so excited, all saying that we are fired up and ready to get Kamala and Governor Walz elected come November the 5th.
We have seen an awful lot of presidential campaigns that were literally years in the planning, not execute as flawlessly as the Harris campaign has been executing over the last 2 weeks, and now what is the Harris-Walz campaign. Kamala Harris certainly deserves a huge amount of credit for the way these 2 weeks have gone.